In today's video, we explore a powerful example of architectural courage, one that dares to engage nature rather than dominate it. This stunning brutalist masterpiece stands as a reminder that concrete, often misunderstood as cold and rigid, can become a deeply emotional and respectful response to the natural world. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments, because your support helps bring more meaningful architecture stories like this to life. This home is not just about form or structure, it is about restraint, humility, and intention. Designed with a deep awareness of its surroundings, the architect made a conscious decision to allow the landscape to shape the building, not the other way around. As we walk through this project together, you'll see how bravery in design often lies not in excess, but in thoughtful harmony with nature. The story of this brutalist masterpiece begins long before concrete was poured or walls were drawn. It begins with the land itself. The architect approached the site not as an empty canvas, but as a living presence with its own rhythms, contours, and limitations. Sloping terrain, rock formations, wind direction, and existing vegetation all played a decisive role in shaping the architecture. Instead of leveling the site, the building was carefully embedded into it, following the natural topography. This approach required restraint and patience, qualities not always celebrated in modern development. By allowing the site to guide decisions, the architect transformed constraints into opportunities. The result is a structure that feels inevitable, as if it has always belonged there, quietly emerging from the earth rather than being imposed upon it. Brutalism is often reduced to raw concrete and heavy forms, but this project reminds us that the movement is fundamentally about honesty. Honesty in materials, structure, and intention. Here, exposed concrete is not used for shock value, but as a truthful expression of the building's construction. There is no cladding to hide imperfections, no decorative layers to soften reality. Instead, the architecture embraces its rawness, allowing time, weather, and light to interact with its surfaces. This brutalist language becomes a bridge between human intervention and natural forces. Over time, the concrete patinas, moss grows in crevices, and shadows deepen, turning the building into a living participant in its environment rather than a static object. Designing a brutalist home in a nature-rich setting requires courage to resist trends, market expectations, and conventional beauty standards. The architect chose integrity over popularity, fully aware that this design would not appeal to everyone. In an era dominated by glass boxes and minimalist luxury, this building stands unapologetically grounded. Its massing is bold, its material palette restrained, and its relationship with nature deeply intentional. This courage is evident in every decision, from the thickness of the walls to the limited use of finishes. Rather than seeking visual lightness, the architect embraced weight and permanence, creating a home that feels anchored to the earth and emotionally grounded in its surroundings. One of the most compelling aspects of this project is the contrast between the heavy brutalist form and the softness of the surrounding landscape. Dense concrete walls stand beside swaying grasses, trees, and exposed rock, creating a visual tension that feels intentional and poetic. This contrast enhances both elements. The architecture feels more powerful because of the landscape, and the landscape feels more alive because of the architecture. Rather than blending in completely, the building asserts its presence while still respecting its context. This balance between contrast and harmony is what gives the project its emotional depth, allowing viewers and occupants alike to experience architecture as a conversation with nature. The building's geometry is not arbitrary. Each angle, plane, and volume responds directly to the site's contours and views. Instead of symmetrical forms, the architect used layered, shifting masses that follow the slope of the land. This creates a sense of movement and progression as one moves through the home. The geometry also serves practical purposes, controlling sunlight, framing views, and providing shelter from wind. By allowing form to emerge from function and context, the architecture avoids unnecessary gestures. The result is a composition that feels both deliberate and organic, shaped as much by nature as by human intention. openings in this brutalist masterpiece are carefully positioned to frame the landscape like living artwork. Instead of large, continuous glass walls, the architect opted for deeply recessed windows that create moments of focus and pause. Each view is intentional: mountains, trees, sky, or stone, revealed in a controlled and meaningful way. These framed views encourage mindfulness, inviting occupants to slow down and observe subtle changes in light, weather, and seasons. The thickness of the walls enhances this experience, turning windows into thresholds between interior shelter and the vastness of nature beyond. Natural light plays a critical role in animating the heavy concrete interiors. As sunlight moves throughout the day, it casts shifting shadows that soften the massiveness of the structure. Skylights, narrow openings, and courtyards allow light to penetrate deep into the building, creating moments of warmth and contrast. The architect treated light not as an afterthought, but as a building material, one that sculpts space, defines mood, and connects interior life with the outside world. In this way, brutalism becomes surprisingly poetic, revealing its emotional potential through light and shadow. Inside, the home feels like a refuge from the chaos of the outside world. Thick concrete walls provide acoustic insulation and thermal stability, creating a calm and protected environment. The interior palette is intentionally minimal, allowing texture and materiality to take center stage. Concrete, wood, and stone work together to create warmth without excess. This simplicity encourages mindful living, where occupants engage more deeply with space rather than being distracted by decoration. The interior becomes a sanctuary, a place where architecture supports reflection, rest, and connection with nature. One of the most courageous aspects of this brutalist masterpiece is its acceptance of time. The architect understood that materials would age, weather, and change, and designed for that reality. Concrete surfaces are left exposed, allowing stains, cracks, and patina to tell the story of the building's life. Rather than fighting aging, the architecture embraces it, becoming richer and more expressive over time. This approach challenges the obsession with perfection and maintenance-free design, reminding us that beauty often lies in imperfection and authenticity. Sustainability in this project is achieved not through high-tech systems, but through thoughtful design. The building's orientation maximizes natural ventilation and daylight, reducing the need for artificial systems. Thick walls provide thermal mass, keeping interiors cool in summer and warm in winter. The integration with the landscape minimizes site disturbance and preserves natural ecosystems. This passive approach to sustainability aligns perfectly with the brutalist philosophy, doing more with less, and allowing architecture to work in harmony with natural forces rather than against them. This home is not about luxury in the conventional sense. Instead, it offers richness through space, light, and connection to nature. The architect deliberately avoided excessive square footage, focusing instead on quality of experience. Each room serves a clear purpose, and circulation spaces are carefully choreographed. This restraint encourages occupants to live more intentionally, appreciating the subtleties of their environment. In a world driven by consumption, this architecture quietly teaches the value of simplicity and mindful living. Architecture has the power to influence how we feel, think, and behave. In this brutalist masterpiece, the emotional weight of concrete creates a sense of grounding and stability. The building feels protective, almost primal, offering a deep sense of belonging. This emotional resonance is not accidental, it is the result of careful consideration of scale, proportion, and materiality. By embracing the psychological impact of architecture, the architect created a home that supports emotional well-being as much as physical comfort. Despite its solid appearance, the home is not closed off from the world. Strategic openings and outdoor spaces create a seamless relationship between interior and exterior. Courtyards, terraces, and framed views allow nature to enter daily life without sacrificing privacy. This balance is crucial, especially in natural settings where exposure and vulnerability can be concerns. The architecture provides shelter while still fostering connection, allowing occupants to feel both protected and deeply engaged with their surroundings. The thickness of the walls is not merely structural, it is experiential. Deep reveals create layers of shadow that change throughout the day, adding depth and complexity to the architecture. These shadows soften the hardness of concrete, introducing a sense of movement and time. The play of light and shadow becomes a daily performance, reminding occupants of the sun's journey and the passage of time. This attention to depth transforms brutalism from static mass into a dynamic, living environment. In a globalized world where architecture often looks the same everywhere, this project stands as a cultural statement. It resists homogenization, responding specifically to its location, climate, and context. The architect rejected generic solutions, choosing instead to create something deeply rooted and place-specific. This commitment to context gives the building authenticity and meaning, reminding us that great architecture cannot be mass-produced, it must be grown from the ground up. This brutalist masterpiece does not shout for attention. Its strength lies in its quiet confidence. There are no flashy details or dramatic gestures, only a calm, steady presence. This silence allows the landscape to remain dominant, with architecture acting as a supportive frame rather than the main spectacle. In this way, the building demonstrates that true power in design often comes from knowing when to step back and let nature take the lead. Rain, wind, sun, and temperature all interact visibly with this home. Water leaves marks on concrete, sunlight shifts across surfaces, and vegetation grows closer over time. These interactions are not flaws, they are features. The architecture was designed to accept and celebrate environmental change. Living in this home means living with the seasons, becoming more attuned to natural cycles and rhythms. This deepens the occupant's relationship with both the building and its surroundings. At its core, brutalism is about truth. This home embodies that ethic by exposing its structure, materials, and construction methods. Beams, slabs, and joints are visible, telling the story of how the building stands. There is no attempt to disguise or beautify the process. This honesty fosters trust and understanding, allowing occupants to connect more deeply with their environment. Architecture becomes transparent, not visually, but philosophically. Choosing brutalism in a natural setting is a professional risk. The architect faced criticism, skepticism, and doubt. Yet, they remained committed to their vision, believing in the project's integrity. This personal risk is part of what makes the architecture so powerful. It represents not just a design solution, but a stance, a refusal to compromise core values for acceptance or profit. That courage is embedded in every wall and surface. The layout of the home encourages slow, deliberate movement. Circulation paths reveal views gradually, creating moments of anticipation and pause. Daily routines, waking up, eating, resting, become rituals shaped by light, space, and silence. The architecture encourages mindfulness, drawing attention to small moments often overlooked. In this way, the home becomes an active participant in daily life, shaping habits and experiences in subtle but meaningful ways. While Brutalism has historical roots, this project reinterprets the style for contemporary living. It retains the movement's core values: honesty, strength, and clarity, while adapting to modern needs and environmental concerns. This dialogue between past and future gives the architecture depth and relevance. It reminds us that architectural styles are not static; they evolve through thoughtful reinterpretation and contextual sensitivity. This brutalist masterpiece offers valuable lessons for architects, designers, and homeowners alike. It demonstrates the importance of listening to the site, the climate, and the emotional needs of occupants. It shows that courage in design often means resisting trends and embracing responsibility. Most importantly, it reminds us that architecture can be both powerful and gentle, bold and respectful, when guided by thoughtful intention. In a time of environmental crisis and urban overload, architecture like this feels more relevant than ever. It offers an alternative to extractive development, proposing a model based on coexistence rather than control. By harmonizing with nature, the building fosters respect, awareness, and responsibility. It encourages us to rethink our relationship with the built environment and consider how design choices impact the planet and our own well-being. As we conclude this journey through a stunning brutalist masterpiece, one thing becomes clear: true architectural courage lies in listening. Listening to the land, to materials, and to the deeper needs of human life. This home stands as a powerful example of how concrete can be compassionate, how strength can coexist with sensitivity, and how architecture can honor nature rather than overpower it. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave a comment sharing your thoughts on brutalism and nature-inspired design. Your engagement helps grow this community of thoughtful design lovers, and I'll see you in the next architectural story.